Episode 1 begins when a woman plunges deep into the water. Nothing is known about her except that she has elaborate markings on her back. Her head hits the floor with a thud and then there's a voiceover, "I don't know where my hometown is, because I don't remember the past and I'm even more uncertain about the future." She keeps hearing a woman calling for Chu Qiao, a name that she doesn't recognize as her own. She flashes back to a man taking her in as a child and giving her the name Jing Xiaolu. We catch glimpses of a violent past further back in time when the child was on the run chased by people screaming bloody murder and implying that she killed her own mother. We see her again as an adult. Her face covered behind a veil before the impending fall. In the present, she is inside one of many cages holding servant girls captive. A young girl befriends her and asks for her name and she introduces herself as Jing Xiaolu. They arrive at the destination only to find it unsettling when they are provided with clean garments to change into. The scene shifts to that of 5 men racing down a busy street on galloping horses, all of them surrounded by an air of nobility. Yuan Song shakes his head that they could have caused an accident with the stunt they pulled, and Yuan Huai agrees, suggesting that they take the party elsewhere in order to play a game that is intense and exciting, complete with anguished screaming. It soon becomes apparent just what sinister concoction he has in mind when the servant girls are herded into the open area. Yuan Huai explains the mechanics of the game, which is basically for the players to kill the women and wolves save for those who belong to their own team. Yuan Song opposes the idea for being too brutal, but Yuan Huai reasons that the women are facing a death sentence and the game may be their only hope for survival. Yen Sun also refused to participate initially, but to forfeit would spell a worse outcome for the women belonging to his team. Zhao Shifeng chants for the wolves to be released, but Yen Song counters that they should at least wait for Yuan Yu to arrive. Yuan Huai smirks that Yuan Yu may be too busy having the time of his life. As they speak, Yuan Yu enters his chambers to find a woman offering herself up to him. His face betrays no emotion as he falls into her embrace, but she brandishes a weapon as she was leaning in for a kiss. Yuan Yu blocks her attack and she busts out the Wolverine needles for a fight that she instantly loses. When asked what it was that gave her away, Yuan Yu admits that everything about her was wrong from the beginning, but he has encountered assassins and poison numerous times before and not seduction. That's a first for him, and now that he has experienced it, it is nothing interesting after all. Meanwhile, the games begin and it is a slaughterhouse. Yen Sun and Yuan Song take it upon themselves to save as many as they can, rescuing Xiao Lu and her friend in the process. Yen Sun seems to have taken a particular interest in Xiao Lu and he saves her again and again. Xiao Lu also catches the eye of Yuan Huai, who is amused to find prey that can put up a fight. He aims an arrow straight for her, but Yen Sun shoots it down and declares that no one should dare touch her. Realizing the attempt on her life, Xiao Lu glares in the direction of the podium. Wolves surround her and start tearing into her flesh, but she grabs an arrow to take down her first wolf, then the second, then the third. Yen Sun readies his next shot, but he finds that Xiao Lu no longer needs saving because she is more than capable of defending herself and her friend. Yuan Yu observes everything from afar and remarks that she is a natural warrior. Given that the time is up, Yuan Song declares that there shall be no more killing. However, Yuan Huai sneaks one more shot in and it goes straight through Xiao Lu's friend. It's the first emotional death to really hit home, but Xiao Lu barely has any time to grieve since she is the next target. After all, Yuan Huai wasn't going to allow a servant girl marked as one of Yuan Yu's to become the sole survivor. Yen Sun attempts to stop Yuan Huai to no avail, and to everyone's surprise, Yuan Yu intervenes, effectively saving Xiao Lu. With everyone else gone, Xiao Lu is brought to her knees before Yen Sun. She is defiant as she looks him squarely in the eye to say that she will only tell him her name when the day comes that she no longer has to look up to him. Yen Sun smiles and leaves her be, though he makes it a point to warn the steward from playing any dirty tricks. The warning goes unheeded because the steward answers to Yuan Huai, and he is hellbent on making Xiao Lu pay for displeasing his boss. Nevertheless, we get a brief reprieve as Xiao Lu is thrown into a closet, finally alone. A male servant who turns out to be her fifth brother secretly brings her food, and he tells her that their sisters are also in the Yuan manor. Yen Sun and Yuan Yu also reminisce the events of the day. Yuan Yu asks his friend whether he is done pretending to be an aimless wanderer since he brought his A-game to the hunt. Yen Sun reasons that even a person like him should have such basic skills. Besides, Yuan Yu also acted very unlike himself, and he hints that Yuan Yu must be attracted to the girl. First impressions: with the number of historical C-dramas being churned out, change is good if not necessary, and I love that the show dares to be different, bringing a convoluted world that adheres to a twisted set of rules. Out of all the nobles, there are those who are clearly deranged, those that don't speak and those that speak up because they have a conscience. It doesn't make much of a difference because they all contribute to a society that feeds on the weak. The wicked are at their worst, and I actually appreciated Ian Wang Yenlin as the villain, though it probably has more to do with spillover love for Monster Killer. He is almost cartoonish here given how rotten to the core his character is. But it seems fitting for a show that is not big on subtlety. Lin Gingxin plays the cold and uncaring male protagonist. There's usually a warmth buried deep down inside such a man that we don't see just yet, especially because his small acts of kindness thus far have been motivated by self-interest and nothing else. I still find a certain appeal to his cool persona, but I'm worried that he'll cross the line and do something unforgivable. Zhao Liying definitely had to do a lot of heavy lifting since she not only had the most scenes but she also had to get into the thick of the action. As far as her transformation goes, I'd say she was successful because I easily empathized with her as the heroine. And I can already see myself desperately wanting for her to rise up and beat everyone to a pulp. Her young counterpart is equally badass from the little that we see, which is why I don't mind that they drop time travel, not when Chu Qiao's backstory has the potential to be epic on its own. In spite of the flaws, Princess Agents brings a shock value that is worth checking out. It reminds me of General and I, which had a similar feel, except for the fact that went haywire pretty quickly for me. Princess Agents seems set up to tell a crazy story packed with an insanely sadistic streak, but I'm just hoping that it'll end up being the good kind of crazy. Let me know what you guys think. I've been anticipating this show for too long and practically willing it to be good that I might not be thinking straight, so please do share. While everyone was playing arrow throwing game, Princess Chun-Er arrived at the party. Her attachment to Yen Sun is obvious to everyone when she called her brother a pig and Yen Sun the only handsome guy in the room. In Yuan Yu's room, he received information regarding his investigation of the assassin in a cool device. With his grandfather, they revealed that the assassin was sent by Yuan Huai to kill him. During the Yen Sun's birthday party, everyone arrived and was having fun. Xiao Lu was sent to be a stepping stool for the princess to aid her off the horse carriage. She overheard Yuan Huai's plan to poison Yuan Yu's alcohol. Ji Xiang went to serve the alcohol to Yuan Yu, but he noticed that something was off and stopped drinking. Yuan Huai pushed for him to drink and said if he doesn't, they will kill off the beauty. Not wanting her big sister to suffer, Xiao Lu knocked the wine glass off. Yuan Huai wanted to kill her, but Yen Sun stopped him and gave her a chance to survive in a flip the pendant game. If she guessed right, she will be pardoned, if not she will be killed. He helped her by doing something to the jade pendant. Even though she guessed right, she couldn't escape punishment. They hung her upside down through the night. Yuan Yu let her down afterward and told her that she was dumb to be courageous without an escape plan. But since Xiao Lu ruined Yuan Huai's plan, her family tried to help her escape. Fifth brother asked an upper maid, Jin Zhu, to help him get a pass that will allow people to leave the estate. She did so and asked fifth brother to give Yuan Yu's grandfather a chess set in return. Fifth brother agreed without knowing that the chess set was poisoned by Yuan Huai and that he was just a scapegoat in the whole plot. Xiao Lu escaped at night but overheard the plot and rushed back to rescue fifth brother. When she arrived, the place was on fire and Yuan Yu had stabbed fifth brother through the heart. Xiao Lu witnessed the death of fifth brother as Yuan Yu stabbed him and threw him in the pit of fire. She ran toward the fire but was stopped by the guards. Xiao Lu cried and told him that her brother is innocent. His reply was, so what if I killed the innocents? The strong survive in this world and the weaks are meant to be stepped on. She promised him that if she lives she will become strong. On the ground, Yuan Yu saw the poison spider crawling on Xiao Lu's arm and slashed at it. He told her that that was punishment for trying to run away. Yuan Huai wanted to confirm the death by pretending to pay his respect to the old man at the funeral. He was stopped by Yuan Yu. Yuan Yu and Yuan Huai picked up their sword and went at each other again. Yuan Huai's weapon shot out a hidden arrow and headed straight toward the incoming Wei consort. The both stopped fighting and welcomed the consort. The consort praised Yuan Yu for sealing off the body to keep the suspect from tampering with evidence and agreed to examine the body for verification. After the examination, she concluded that the grandfather died of poison and forbid Yuan Huai from entering Qing Shan Yuan, Yuan Yu's manor. Yuan Yu thanked the consort Wei for helping him. She advised him gain the king's trust and revive Daiji Tianyan so that he can marry Chun heir and gain more power, since Daiji Tianyan is a precious treasure that the king will not let just anyone take ownership over. The next day, guards were carrying a bloody body across the garden and Xiao Lu overheard that the body belonged to Jin Yan, who was sent to Ji Lugu to serve Yuan Yu's grandfather. Song picked the next batch of slaves to be sent to Ji Lugu and Xiao Lu was chosen. Jixiang begged her to let Xiao Lu go and promised to do anything in return. Xiao Qi finally returned to the Yuan manor. Jixiang's sister told them that she will be gone for a few days and asked Xiao Lu to take care of Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba in her place. She didn't tell them where she was going. Jixiang gave Xiao Ba a pendant that belonged to Xiao Lu for keepsake. Jixiang and other girls were sent to Ji Lugu, where they were surrounded by makeup and pretty clothings. The girls excitedly tried out everything while Jixiang stood tense. Slowly from the water, Yuan Shi crawled out and walked toward Jixiang. She stood still while everyone ran away. He took a sniff and left her to chase after the other girls. Until the last one died, Yuan Shi went back to Jixiang and strangled her. Xiao Lu was waken up by Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba crying. When she asked them what was wrong, they told her that Jixiang was sent to Ji Lugu. The three rushed out to find Jixiang's body being wheeled to a body disposable spot. Xiao Lu and them waited for the guards to leave before approaching the body. While kneeling, she promised Jixiang that she will take care of the little ones. She took her slingshot from Jixiang's hand and cried in the rain. Because of her big mouth, Song was asked to pack her bag to leave. On her way out, she saw Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba doing something sneakily. She followed them and saw that they were burying Jixiang and Lin Shi, which is against the rule at Yuan Manor. She wanted to report it to Yuan Huai. Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba ran after her to stop her. The three started fighting at the bridge and by accident Song got knocked over and fell into the water. While Yuan Yu was studying, his parrot announced the arrival of Bad Egg Yen Sun. Yen Sun warned him about Yuan Shi's visit and sending him a lady to warm his bed. Before he left, Yen Sun pocketed Yuan Yu's expensive medicine. Yen Sun wandered toward the court where the slaves work and live and got involved when some guards were trying to take Xiao Lu away for interrogation regarding Song's death. He accused the guard of stealing his horse and used the same words that the guard said to Xiao Lu, "I'm evidence. Everything I said is true." The guard begged Xiao Lu for forgiveness and she told him to roll away. After the guard left, Yan Xian told Xiao Lu that he wanted something to drink. She told him to go elsewhere. She told him of her brother and sister's death and do not that the mood to entertain him. He noticed the seriousness, put down the medicine and left. Yuan Shi came to Qing Shan Yuan as warned. He wanted to refute Yuan Yu's right to the manor. 16 years ago, Yuan Yu was born to the second household, but because his mom went crazy, the first household took him in. However, his status was not sealed since his father's signature was missing. Right at that moment, the king's notice came and announced Yuan Yu as the heir of Qing Shan Yuan. With that plan down the drain, Yuan Shi wanted Yuan Yu to accept a designated slave as his woman. Yuan Yu told him that to be fair, he will hold a competition to pick the woman that will serve him. The competition will be opened up to the bronze and silver class slaves in the Yuan estate. Xiao Lu wanted to use this opportunity to protect Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba from Yuan Huai and avenge Lin Qi. She went to sign up for the opportunity, but because she is of the metal class, she had no rights. She kneeled in front of his door for hours before he came out. He explained that the slave chosen will be serving the master in bed. If that is the only way to survive, then she is willing to. Before he left, Yuan Yu permit her to participate in the competition. There were 3 rounds on the day of the exam. Those that lost twice will be eliminated. The first round was some sort of chess game. Xiao Lu does not know the rules and was forced to forfeit. In the second round, Xiao Lu used fresh water and a mint leaf to brew tea, and that caught Yuan Yu's attention. She passed the second round, even though knowledge of tea brewing was 0 to none. For the third round, the remaining slaves were told to memorize the Buddha's scripture and write it out in the allotted time. Through watching, Xiao Lu learned how to write and wrote out the symbols based on memory. Before she was announced winner, Yuan Yu told her to sign her name. But because she doesn't know how to write, she used her bell to do so. As the winner of the competition, she was brought to Yuan Yu's chamber. He told her that he will use her if she passes all his tests. He asked her to come over and help him shave. With all those sharp nails in front of her, Xiao Lu remembered how he killed her brother and wanted to aim for his throat.